Hi, this is Janie Pendleton with Our Little Homestead, and today we are making beef vegetable soup. We'll be making this soup today with fresh garden vegetables and our home canned goods. Hi, this is Janie Pendleton. We're back with Our Little Homestead. We have a lot going on here today, so don't mind the background sounds. Right now we're going to make beef vegetable soup. Now this is my grandmother's Depression version. We're going to start with the vegetables that take the longest to cook. That's carrots and potatoes, and that's celery in there. And that's water to cover. And I usually go about 1/4 of an inch over the top of the vegetables. All right, after 3 minutes of a simmer on your carrots, potatoes, and celery, then you'll want to add your onions about 4 minutes in. And then you're going to finish simmering this for probably another 5 to 8 minutes. Everything doesn't have to be super tender yet. Meanwhile, over here, we have our stew meat going. You can use a roast, you can use hamburger, you can leave the meat out and just use straight up broth. And you can make this a chicken version or you can make this a beef version. It doesn't matter. You can add noodles to this or you can leave noodles out. So, I mean, you can really do some variations on this soup. And you make it the way you like it. That's the best part. And now, the reason why my grandmother always called this Depression soup is because they had a garden. And they had cows. So, I mean, just variate what you have in your garden, what you have on your shelves, what you're canning. Just try to use fresh products if you can. I'm cooking on someone else's stove. Okay, there we go. Now let me show you what I did. And that's about the way you want it right there. And let me show you what I did here with the pieces and ends. And you can season this up too. You're going to want to add your salt. You're going to want to add your pepper. You're going to season this up. But this is some carrots that were left over out of the refrigerator I needed to use up. So I used the fresh stuff in here, and I used up the bottom pieces of celery, the leaves of the new stalks of celery. I had a little bit of corn in the refrigerator. I threw that in here for the vitamins and the juice with it. Here we go. You can see what all's in here. See that? So we got tomatoes, carrots, corn, leftover corn. You can see all the celery leaves in here, onion. Okay, so I'm putting that on the side, and I put on about 1.5 quarts of water here over the top, and I'm just going to simmer this with this slightly cracked, and I'm going to reduce this for a nice vegetable broth. And you can add what vegetables you have right here, okay? So, Depression cooking. We're multitasking here. So like this beef that I'm cooking here now, I can use it for other things. So I could make some beef tips with this, with some mushrooms over mashed potatoes and gravy. I mean, there's a lot that you can do, and this is why they call it Depression cooking. You make a meal stretch. You make it stretch. So what we have going here with just a few vegetables and some meat is we have multiple meals here. That's going to be pre-cooked, pre-done. We have some great vegetable broth for another soup. It's been a while since I've given you guys a nice cooking video. And I want to thank you guys for all your support. We're almost 100,000 strong. Are you seeing that number? We're almost there. We're using our home garden canned items and fresh garden items. And we're supposed to be in the Depression era, or in our case, just hard times like we're seeing now where people are getting sick. So you always want to have these things in your pantry to be prepared. And nothing better than feeding a sick family member some chicken noodle soup or some beef broth. You know, it's all really good for you. All right, so we're ready to start adding some stuff here. I'm gonna add my freezer corn with the juice. Not too far. Remember, I'm getting used to someone else's glass top cooktop, so it makes it a little harder. All right, so this is really cooked long enough. We've added the corn. So now we're gonna go ahead and we're going to add the rest of the peas and the onions. Add about a teaspoon of salt. That was about 1/2 teaspoon. I'm going to salt the meat here just a little bit. And then I'm going to salt my broth here just a little bit. Draw those flavors out. And let's see if I can't get more pepper out of this one too. All right, we are not going to drain the water off this soup because this is now a great vegetable broth boiling in here. So you're gonna add your beef broth. The only thing that's gonna be out of the can here today is going to be the tomato juice because my tomato juice is still packed up at the other house. I gotta get it out of the old kitchen. I'm gonna go ahead and add one large, oh, let's get the size here. One large 14, so it's 1 quart plus 14 fluid ounces. So it's 1.36 pounds of tomato juice. There you go. Oh, it just fits. Isn't that perfect? The meat's just about there. Doesn't that look delicious? You know, just season this the way you like it and you're just about done. All right, let's see what kind of seasonings we like. Parsley has a lot of vitamins, and during flu and cold season, parsley is a good thing to put in your soup. I personally like a little bit of rosemary in mine. You don't want to overcomplicate the flavors, but I do like a little bit of, well, that's not close. A little bit of marjoram is good. And I do like basil in my soup as well. Each one offers a little different flavor together. But again, don't overcomplicate it. And thyme. I do love thyme in my soups. And I like lemon thyme. And I just rub it in my hand like that, see? And just drop it in. Ooh, that added some really great, the whole kitchen smells so good right now. All right, so good. All right, so while this is coming up, I'm gonna go wash my dishes, and then I'm gonna come back and put this beef right into here, and I'm gonna finish cooking off that beef on a slow simmer. So bring this up to a simmer, very low simmer, and then put your beef in, and then let it, bring it up just a little bit, and a little bit higher simmer. And then, so you just got just a little bit of bubbles coming across here that are about the size of peas. And then you're going to want to add your meat, and you're going to simmer your meat for about half an hour. You're going to get that meat, because it's stew meat. In this case, we use stew meat, and that's going to be a little bit tougher. So that's why you want to cook it on here on low and slow. Low and slow. You're going to want to also add your juices from this into the big pot here. And look at the coloring on that. Isn't that just a beautiful soup? Let me show this to you up close here. So beautiful. You're going to want to get multiple spoons. Never double dip. You get it nice and stirred up so I don't get all those things off the top. And don't eat over the top of the pot. Oh. Let me tell you, you're not going to be disappointed in this. It does need some more salt. About another teaspoon or so. And by the way, this yields about right around 6.5 to 7 quarts of soup. All right, enough to freeze. And this, you can can this up at pints, 75 minutes, or because it has the meat in it, or the quarts for 90 minutes at 10 pounds of pressure, or at 15 pounds depending on how far above sea level that you are. So if you're over 1,000 feet above sea level, and check with your local extension if you don't know that answer, and find out how far above sea level you are. If you're under 1,000 feet, it is 10 pounds of pressure. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and get this simmering and going. Okay, and we're going to see you back here. Matter of fact, I can go ahead and put my meat in. I'm going to go ahead and put it in. So I'm going to go ahead, put that in, juice and all. All right, so we'll see you back here in about an hour to an hour and a half of slow simmering this, and we're going to have an excellent, very tender meat. Okay, I'm just going to add some pasta. And just add some in like that, and then we're going to finish simmering this off for the amount of time it takes to get the pasta done. So let's just go ahead and see how this is looking. There's that meat really getting tender, starting to fall apart. We've got the pasta in here. Just the right amount of combination of everything. Isn't that a beautiful soup? And the coloring is perfect. All right. This is great just like it is. It's very heartwarming. Like I said, with this sickness going around and other sicknesses going around, this is just a really good thing to keep on hand. This can store, when you bring it to room temperature, you can put this in your freezer and store this in containers for about 5 months, 4 to 5 months, and it's still really fresh tasting, okay? I wouldn't freeze it any longer than that. Right. It's ready to go. I did add the pasta to mine. This looks really good. Look how hearty that is. And we're going to get some of that broth. And that's perfect for one serving right there. A few crackers there on top. This is going to be so hot. I'm going to take pictures of this. I'll be right back. Okay, so we've had our soup and we each portioned it out. So everybody got about 1.5 cups each. And then what we're left with is about 1.5 cups each for 4 people, portioned out into 2 different containers. And I'm going to label these containers, what's inside. And you can see this really hearty soup. It looks really good. And this will give us 2 more meals off today's meal. So that's 3 meals that we're going to have for 4 people, 4 adults and a baby. Now over here is where I just took the stick blender here. Took the stick blender here to that broth and made a delicious vegetable broth, and it tastes really good. I did sample it with my clean spoon. Remember, never double dip. And you want to leave enough headspace for this to expand. I'll be using this vegetable broth here for another soup project, okay? And this is great for split pea soup. Anything that you would use a vegetable broth in, this is absolutely delicious. You can even make your dog biscuits with this. It's delicious. All right, so I hope that helped you for today's meal. And you can see now I'm going to get 3 to 4 more days of food just off tonight's dinner. All from the garden, all delicious, all fresh, except for the pasta that we added. And that tomato juice, because my tomato juices are canned, but they're still at the other house this week. And or you can freeze them, and they'll freeze up to about 4 to 5 months in the freezer. And then the same for the broth, 4 to 5 months max. And you can split this into ice cubes, and you can get little broth cubes to add to your meals, which I thought how to do that. Little cubes of it, and then after you freeze them, just like with the eggs, throw them in a baggie after they're frozen, and then you can just dip in and get what you need. This is great for all kinds of dishes. Okay, we love you. Go with God. Make some soup. It's great. There we go. And we'll just pop these out and put these into some freezer trays. All right, so what we've done here is we just dipped our mold in a little bit, about that much of just warm water. In some molds, you don't even have to do that. And as you can see, it just popped right out. Isn't that cute? All right, just pop it out. Put it in your freezer baggie. Hopefully they get too many in this one. Oh, they just fit. Okay, there's actually 4 sets of these in one of these freezer baggies here. Plus I got another great big baggie of them. So here I'm just going to drop 2 right inside of my sweet and sour chicken. It's another really good one. Go over there and see my beef vegetable soup one. It's really good. And then also my garden pasta salad. Really good. You can put in what you like. That's what I like about these recipes. Okay? Okay, we love you. Be sure and go with God. Be sure and subscribe down below. We have a lot more coming, and we still have our sewing series. And of course, we have a lot of other things going on. All right, we love you. Go with God. All right, blessings. Be safe out there, and remember, make your dollar stretch.